Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
Welcome, everybody, to the 60th episode of the Blacks in Technology Big Tech Talk podcast. This is Founders Hour, and we are live today, or tonight. This is 9 p.m. on, what's the day, the 27th, 28th of August. My name is Greg Greenlee. I am the host of tonight's show, along with my co-host, Jewel Sparks. Hey, what's going on, Jewel?
Everything's great.
You all right? Are you awake over there?
Yes, I am awake, alive.
Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah. All right, because it's 3 a.m. Where are you at? In Germany or Australia?
Yes,
or?
I'm in Berlin, Germany. Germany.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. In case this is your first time listening into the podcast, we are Blacks in Technology. You can check us out at www.blackintechnology.net. You can also follow us on Twitter, and we are at Black in Technology, and that's BLKINTECHNOLOGY. We're also on Facebook. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Blacks in Technology. We also have a LinkedIn group under Blacks in Technology. You can just do a search, and you'll find us there. And if you're listening, of course you're going to be listening if you're going to hear this announcement. So if you want to tweet us any questions, you can tweet them to hashtag BitTechTalk. Or you can tweet them to Founders Hour. Now, to get into a little bit about Blacks in Technology, we're a tech-focused community and media organization focused on increasing diversity in technology. Blacks in Technology's mission is to increase visibility, participation, and change the perception of people of African descent in technology through community-focused events, activities, and media. Blacks in Technology is stomping their divide by establishing a blueprint of world-class technical excellence and innovation by providing resources, guidance, and issuing a challenge to our members to surpass the high mark and establish new standards of global innovation via mind-sharing and collaboration efforts. Blacks in Technology always focuses on forming new partnerships and opportunities to assist our members with their continued professional growth and development. So if you want to partner with us, send an email to partnerships@blacksintechnology.net. And if you have any general inquiries, send us an email to info@blacksintechnology.net. Also, if you're a corporation or organization looking to post jobs and reach a diverse community such as Blacks in Technology, go ahead and also send us an email. We now have a jobs board on the site, so companies and organizations can utilize that to reach target audience. So send that to info@blacksintechnology.net as well. A couple of things I think we mentioned on the last podcast, and I always want to mention this. FaucetCon is going to be going on September 11th through 13th. That is a free and open source software conference that's being held in Orlando, Florida. BIT member Brian Smith is actually one of the organizers of the conference, so big up to Brian for that. That's FaucetCon, September 11th through 13th, Orlando, Florida. Also, we have a partnership with PuppetConf. We are sending some lucky members to PuppetConf in September, and that's going to be September 20th through the 24th in San Francisco, California. It's a 5-day event. The first 3 days of the event is training. Last 2 days are going to be keynotes, talks, demos, certification testing. And also there's going to be Strange Loop that's going to be happening, I think, on the 18th and 19th. That is a developers conference that is going on in St. Louis, Missouri. Strange Loop is a developers conference, meaning it's one of the top-notch developers conference in the nation. You should definitely be there if you're a developer, if you can make it there. It's just Strange Loop, and I'm pretty sure that's September 18th and 19th. Jewel, you have any announcements?
Yes, we also have our monthly tech line system, and what we're doing is we're looking for people from our community to submit their blogs or topics and write blogs focused on topics that they find useful for their day-to-day execution of their jobs and systems, engineering or technology professionalism. So if you want to contribute to our blog and provide Techline solutions to our membership, just send an email to techline@blacksintechnology.net.
Excellent, excellent. So without further ado, we are going to introduce our guest tonight. Jewel, do you want to have the honor of introducing our guest? You have been spearheading the Founders Hour, so.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about why we have a Founders Hour tonight. Tonight we are joined with Candace Mitchell and Chanel Martin, who are the founders of Techturized. So we formed a Blacks in Technology Founders Hour because we want to tell the stories of founders who are impacting the lives of others and the communities in which they live as it pertains to stomping the divide, which is basically the main goal of Blacks in Technology. So without further ado, I'd really like to take the time to introduce Candace Mitchell and Chanel Martin of Techturized Incorporated, which is the hair care startup. And they launched recently their first product called Maribana, which is a mobile app where Black women can discover new hairstyles, products, and local stylists in their area. And this app allows women to achieve their hair nirvana. Candace Mitchell is a computer scientist from Atlanta, Georgia. She graduated from Georgia Tech in 2011 with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from Georgia Tech. And her technology background includes research in IT security as well as human-computer interaction. She leverages her passion for education to inspire youth to pursue STEM fields. She also has worked for various Fortune 500 companies such as Siemens and PepsiCo. And after a year in corporate America, she decided to follow her dreams and become an entrepreneur. We like entrepreneurs, don't we, Greg?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Love them.
And yes, and we also have Chanel Martin, and she possesses a Master's of Science in Chemical Engineering from Oklahoma City. Yay, I'm from Wichita, Kansas, love the Midwest. She also possesses a passion for entertainment, beauty, and all things hair, of course. And Chanel attended Clark Atlanta University and was a participant in the dual degree engineering program with Georgia Tech and North Carolina A&T State University. And she has a background in manufacturing and research and development, but she left those positions as well to pursue her passion at Techturized full time. So Techturized, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the company. It's been featured in Black Enterprises Technology Startup of the Week, Melissa Harris Perry's show on MSNBC, as well as various other online print publications. And in 2013, Techturized Incorporated was named one of Georgia's most promising new technology companies and winner of the TAG, which is the Technology Association of Georgia Business Launch Competition. And recently, the group won the Power Moves NOLA competition down in New Orleans, and we'll talk about that later. But without further ado, how are you guys doing this evening?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing well. That's good. How's the weather? Where are you guys in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yes. Yeah. We're in Atlanta.
Great.
It's actually cooling down, thank goodness. The summers are really brutal here, but it's cooling down, getting ready for fall, so I'm happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah, I've been down in Atlanta during some hot spells, and it is blistering hot down there. We suffer some. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, so we're up north, and I mean we go through some weather, some heat, but it's nothing like Southern heat, nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, glad to have you all on the show. So we want to jump right into our questions and start talking about you all and start talking about Techturized. And so the first question is, speaking about being founders, what inspired you to start down the founder path?
I think what inspired us is just seeing problems that women were facing in terms of their hair care experiences, and realizing there wasn't anything currently in the market that was helping women through their hair care journeys from a personal perspective. And if, something doesn't exist, the next step is to go ahead and create that. And so, being a founder of a company, you're literally creating something that doesn't exist to solve a problem in the market. And Chanel and I can both attest to the fact that Black women in particular, we have a very frustrating experience when it comes to taking care of our hair because we have so many unique hair textures, and it's really hard to figure out which products on the market work specifically for your hair type. And so when we looked deeper into the problem and saw the market opportunity, we thought, the fact that we're engineers and we have a technology background, we're well positioned to create a solution that will solve this problem once and for all for millions of women around the world. So that alone really inspired us to start a company and be a founder and go down the founder's path, which is literally a trailblazing path because there's nothing to guide you when you're creating something new. You're kind of finding your own way and kind of using resources and people and things, other aspects to kind of help you establish a business. So that's what inspires us every day, the fact that we can, change the lives of women around the world because we already know how important hair is for Black women and just women, period, in terms of our livelihood, our self-esteem, our confidence, and how we present ourselves to the world. And so that's what keeps us going and inspired us to become founders in the beginning.
And to kind of piggyback off of that real quick, and because Chanel, you have a degree in chemical engineering, and being that the hair care product market is so huge, why the step towards or bringing something as far as it being in technology as opposed to saying like, hey, let's just create a new product to help women with their hair as opposed to, bringing a technology perspective to the whole thing, to the solution.
Right. So it's actually bigger than just creating products. Products are the equation. So, if you have killer products that work awesome, but you don't know how to use the products, or you're using the products incorrectly, or you can't actually find the products because you never heard about it, or you don't even know what to do with it. I mean, those are issues that women are facing every day. So you can have the best product, but if a woman can't access your product, doesn't know how to use it, then, it doesn't matter. And so using technology, we're able to bridge the gap between hair products, hair stylists, hairstyles, and hair manufacturers to create a complete solution for the everyday woman. So that woman can decide, hey, I'm looking for a style to go out on this date. Okay, let me go into my Atlanta app. I think I have an idea. I want to do it curly. So I'm going to go search the galleries and see, oh, okay, now I see the product. Now I see a curly style. Okay, so let's see what this woman did. Oh, she said she used Miss Jessie's curly puddings to use that. Oh, I see that I can now I can connect Miss Jessie's curly pudding with this particular style. I can then go ahead and ask her, hey, what did you do? What was your process? And then we can have a conversation right there in the app, particularly about our hair care. So let's say I don't want to do it myself. I see her product. I see her hairstyle. I know what product she used. I save it to my favorites. Then I'm like, I can't do this, but I want to find someone who can. So I go over to my stylist section. If I don't already have a stylist, I'll look and say, hey, this stylist is in my area. Let me look and check out their content. Oh, they have a hot picture. So now I trust this salon or this stylist to do my hair because they showcase their work. It's up to par with my standards. I go in with my picture that I saved and the products, and I say, hey, can you recreate this look on myself? And so that creates a more complete solution than just making hair products.
So you're bringing more through tech. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying is, as opposed to just bringing another product that is put on the shelf, you're bringing an entire experience through technology to solve this problem with hair care.
Exactly. Yes. There are so many products out there. Not to say that we couldn't make an awesome product. What's another product if a woman doesn't know how to use it or can't access it? So, yes, you are correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think that that's great. And obviously, us, four on the call, as well as other members of the African diaspora, they understand this product that you guys have created. One of the questions that I have is, I'm curious because there's been all this talk about everyone. There's all these pitch contests, venture capitalists, all these folks that people usually turn to for investments. I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced with this product in mainstream society, if any? Because, I have never been, for example, it's very rare to go to a pitch contest, first of all, where you see, women pitching their technology products, and then on top of that, a female technology company pitching, a hair care product for a group of people that normally you don't see in the audience. So what are some of the challenges you may have faced, if any, in that area when it comes to mainstream society?
Right. Right, exactly. We face several challenges, and the common denominator is really familiarity with the market, as well as the importance of Black hair for our specific target customer, which is Black women. Because when you look at the landscape of people and organizations that provide capital to tech companies, a vast majority of them are white men. And when I say vast majority, I mean 99%. So just imagine, we started in a tech accelerator based at Georgia Tech. And so in terms of being in the tech startup world, a lot of investors and really people who have access to capital weren't familiar with our market. And so we had to spend a lot of time educating those individuals about the opportunity in hair care, since we were such a unique company, and a lot of people kind of labeled us as unicorns when we started, because it was we were kind of on an island in terms of the trends and the companies that were kind of catching on. A lot of them were B2B, especially in Atlanta, being based in Atlanta. It's a B2B town, a lot of SaaS businesses, which is software as a service, marketing, and different things like that. And so on top of that, when you layer the founders of the business who are Black women, it's kind of you're Black women and you're engineers. I haven't really seen that before. And so in terms of investing, in what they know, not only did we not fit the mold from a market perspective, but also as founders of the business. And so those are a lot of challenges that we faced. But we always found a way to get the resources that we needed. And so how we've been able to manage that to date, we did get funding through the Startup Accelerator that we participated in, which is Flashpoint. It's based out of Georgia Tech. We then did a family and friends round, and a couple of local angels in Atlanta were also a part of that round too. So we were able to bring in some more money into the business. And then we did a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo. And if anyone is listening that donated to that campaign, we thank you so much. We raised $25,000 on Indiegogo. And it also gave us a lot of exposure. Yes, it was truly helpful to our company. And in addition to that, doing pitch competitions, we've raised a lot of money doing pitch competitions as well. And so when you're faced with challenges, you kind of have to get creative, because at the end of the day, you still got to figure out how to make it work, especially when you're very convicted and passionate about your vision. And so those are kind of some alternative ways that we've raised money to date, while we're in the pursuit of still raising, a larger round of venture fund, now that we have more validation in the market, more education to investors, and also with the help of other beauty startups that have launched and raised money. It kind of helps us to really open the eyes of people who have done things the more traditional route to open their eyes to more innovative companies.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Got it. So you've had to do a lot of education for like mainstream investors to kind of, educate them about the market, the potential, and then from there you've had to also be creative, and it seems like you've used like diversified methods such as like crowd and funding, pitch contests. I mean, because you guys definitely have been on the pitch contest circuit. I mean, I've heard about you like all over the U.S. So I think that that's also something that's probably helped you guys because, I mean, as we know, I mean, there's even barriers to people knowing how to pitch correctly. And I think that overcoming that challenge, you guys have definitely done that. And so I think if you, one, know how to pitch correctly, even if it's to a group of investors that may not per se understand your product, I mean, at least it takes away that part of not being prepared, the way that they're used to hearing pitch contests or companies pitch their brand. So, accolades to you guys for that because that was taken away, that part that, let's see if they know how to pitch type of thing. So then they really just had to focus on, educating themselves as well as like, okay, but they're pitching the same platform style that we're used to seeing. And clearly they know what it takes for that piece. That's great.
What was your first pitch experience like? Did you guys suffer through any like hiccups, and what have you learned from that initial pitch to one of your more recent? What are some of the things that you've learned on that journey?
I would say like our first pitch that we did. So Candace Mitchell does all the pitch. Performs all the pitches, but we work on them together as a team. So the very first pitch, and correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, when we did it was the Bit House at South by Southwest. I believe that was our very first competition. Yes. So that was our very first pitch competition, but that wasn't the first time we actually pitched. We had to pitch weekly at Flashpoint, and we participated in demo days, which we did a tour. We pitched in Atlanta, then we went to New York, and then we went to San Francisco. So we had actually pitched for a long time by the time we got to the Bit House. But we wanted to make sure that we won. So I remember we were on our tour bus, and we stayed up really, really late. Yeah, because we rode down there in the tour bus. We stayed up really, really late trying to, think about everything that we have been doing and figure out the best way to deliver what it is we were trying to deliver. And we were still in the early phases of our business. We were still trying to figure out who we were, what product we were going to create. We just knew we had an awesome idea and an awesome concept, and we were building something. And so it was difficult for us to convey that. And what we learned each time, it just gets better and better. Candace does an amazing job pitching. She really captivates the audience, and she's entertaining, and people enjoy watching her pitch. But we have painted a clearer picture. What used to take us hours and hours and hours and days and days and days to come up with, we're able to kind of work off of a working draft and edit a few things. We ended up changing our business model back last summer when we switched from doing a website to a mobile app. We created one huge, long deck, and we've been able to kind of refine that and slim it down to meet the needs of whatever the pitch competition is. And so each time you pitch, you just get better and better. You're able to paint the picture a little bit more clear. And then as we understood our business and our position in the market, we're able to tell a better story.
Right. So practice makes perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly what it is.
It sounds like it. And I know before you guys pitched at the Big House Pitch Contest at South by Southwest, I also remember you guys had some press on TV. So I think that also helped, like a combination of that exposure on a national level, as well as because that helps like people who see you pitch also, that it gives them kind of a background. And if you have like already a national presence somewhere, I think they also pay attention. So it's really a combination of making sure that your pitch is on point, making sure that people have heard about your product and brand, And I remember some of the feedback that we got from you, because we had like Ty from Samsung who was one of the judges. We had Brian Dixon from Kapoor. He was one of the investor guys that also was on the judging panel for you guys. And I remember they said that you guys, like, you just blew everyone else away, but they could tell that you had practiced your pitch. And then I can only imagine how it just got better and better over time, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'd actually like to make one correction. So
sure.
We did not have national exposure until afterwards. So you guys were actually a launching pad for us. That was a game changer. We got profiled as the technology startup of the week. And from that article on Black Enterprise, that's where we
right.
Everything kind of blew out of the water. So I just wanted you guys to understand that because no one really knew about us before then.
The Bid House Pitch Contest. Well, God, that's great.
Yeah,
we're happy
definitely.
So
we're very grateful for the opportunity and how the stars and the cards and God and Jesus and everybody else lined it up for us to walk this path.
That's great. On a different note, obviously you guys are women founders, and there's been a lot in the news about like companies, from Yahoo, Google, and Facebook, where they're talking about the lack of diversity in technology. And I want to turn that around a little bit because, the way I was raised, it's like, sometimes what people perceive as weaknesses or lack of opportunity, it actually is it gives you guys room for more opportunity. So my question for you is do you feel that being women in this world of technology has actually been a competitive advantage for you guys?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say yes, and Chanel and I talk about this all the time, and we believe it's a competitive advantage because people underestimate Black women in technology.
Yes.
And so if you're already underestimated and you're already the underdog, and you come in and you're tight and you're already a great candidate, a great technologist, it's like people are just automatically like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest person we've ever seen ever. And so it's a competitive advantage because people don't naturally think that a Black woman is a technology leader. Just to keep it real, because of how things are kind of laid out and shaping up right now, and who you see are the leaders of technology companies right now. And so when you have a great resume, you have great experience, you are headed down your path, it's kind of like, we already have the upper hand because, people weren't expecting that to be the case. And so that's why we kind of think, we do have a competitive advantage in one aspect. And I think the other aspect is women in general, we just bring such a unique perspective to the technology world, and we're able to uncover specific needs that a lot of men look over just from our instincts, our experiences, and basically our roles in society. We're able to bring that to the forefront and build companies based off of that. And I know I was actually just reading an article on Jessica Alba, who started an eco-friendly baby product line, and it's close to being valued $1 billion. And so if you just think about that for a second, it's amazing. And if you just think about it, eco-friendly baby products, who would even think about that? Of course, a woman, because we're mothers. Our roles in society, we have specific insights into things. And especially if you apply that from a technology perspective, when we're already underrepresented, and then on top of that being a minority, so a Black woman, it's just we have such a deeper insight into things that a lot of people will look over. And to give you an example, Techturized, who would have ever wanted to take this route into the hair care market for Black women? So I think the competitive advantage as well is, we have that deep insight because of our experiences and, just because of our struggle culturally, we're pretty much groomed to have determination and perseverance in a lot of different ways, and we can apply that to, building businesses and making it happen. And so I think that, like, with all those powers combined, it really does provide a competitive advantage, but you only can tap into that if you really believe that it's possible and you believe that you can do it. Because I know, just from my perspective, Candace, just looking at all of the news in terms of diversity and women in technology, and this company doesn't have this, and their diversity numbers are that, it's very discouraging. It's very discouraging. I know a lot of press and news is trying to just shed light on it to bring change, but it is discouraging. So I think that on top of that, you have to just be courageous and continue to go down the path, because that's what really brings change, and that's what will continue to keep us competitive in this market.
Yeah, I definitely agree 100%, and I think you really speak to the narrative of what a lot of people have already been saying in technology, is that when you hire a more diverse diverse workforce, you're going to get these ideas that you would have never thought of yourself, right?
Right.
Whether it's through women, through minorities, or whatever, you're going to get, or even gender, as far as like transgender people out there. And you're going to get this more diverse set of ideas and this more diverse set of talent and skills that you would have never gotten before. And there's tons of problems out there that have not even been touched, let alone, thought about. So, I think you're 100% correct when you say that. So.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this, and I know you all touched on financing your company, but were there any methods, anything that worked best for you, or any methods that kind of didn't work? And can you kind of talk about why it might not have worked, and what you did to kind of refine your strategy as far as trying to finance your business?
Yeah, so what obviously works the best is entering pitch competitions, because you get the majority of the pitch competitions that we've entered, it's free money with no equity tied to it. We did pitch it one competition. We didn't win that one, but it was a great opportunity where there was an equity investment tied to the pitch competition. But you win money and you win services. So even though maybe the cash value may not be, $30,000, the services that sometimes you can get out of these pitch competitions are gold. So those have just been amazing for the acceleration of our business.
Okay.
Also, like Candace mentioned earlier, we did a crowdfunding campaign. The awesome thing about crowdfunding campaigns is it causes you to promote your business like no other. So where maybe you might have been a little bit lazy about getting the word out, when you're raising money, it gives you an awesome platform to promote whatever it is you're selling, to promote yourself, to promote your company, and all while giving people an opportunity to give money towards your cause. And so that's really, really, really helped us and helped us garner a little bit more press as well with the crowdfunding campaign. So I always recommend free money is the best money if you can garner the support.
Yeah.
And we also did a friends and family round. Your friends and family should be your first and your earliest supporters, and they were. I mean, we did really well. We raised $40,000 with our friends and family. I think that is amazing that they believed in us so early, and they believed in what we told them, and they gave us their money and trusted us to build this company. So not only are we owners of Techturized, but our friends and family own a piece of it, and that's just an amazing feeling to know that we're doing it for them. I'd say one thing that we did that we learned along the way was we tried to seek venture capital funding way too early. We were still in the customer discovery phase, trying to figure out exactly what our product was going to be. Was it going to be on the web? Was it going to be mobile? Were we going to do a subscription box? Were we going to do this? I mean, we were just rummaging through so many ideas. We were going to do e-commerce, and we would have a different story every time we would talk to an investor. If they told us, okay, I really think you should be doing this, we weren't strong enough with our business model and our company and knowing our position in the market that we would change it to think that that was going to be a way for us to get money, when really we just weren't solid enough to seek out venture capital funding. And that's one thing that, I mean, I don't want to call it a waste of time because I think there were some valuable lessons, but we did waste a little bit of cash flying to different places, trying to meet up with different venture capitalist firms to not receive funding or investment. I think I know where we are now. We're definitely ready. We're solid where we are. They can hit us with any kind of questions. We understand the financials. We understand our business from the inside out, and that's what we didn't have. And it's okay that we didn't have that. We were very early. We've only been operating for about 2 years. And so those are just some of the lessons that we learned.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the whole entire journey is about, right? Like, I know you all were mentioning, refining your pitches and then suddenly having like this kind of moment of clarity where everything seemed to come together. And I think that, listening to your story, that whole entire journey of, flying out there, not being ready, and talking to VCs and things like that, and realizing like, hey, that we're not ready for this phase yet, and then coming back and then everything coming together. That's all part of the journey of having a startup, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think it helps you guys like going to different parts of the country though and seeing what other investors or people thought was important. I mean, that also helps you guys create like your overall picture, because although you're, based in Atlanta, but you're focused on one particular market group, like how can you still be focused on one particular market group but still make it globally attractive? And so that's why I think there was kind of a benefit of you guys going and speaking to different venture capitalists, even if it was too early in the game. You still got to know what those folks were looking for and what the different climates were in different regions of the country. So now, like you said, you were ready. That customer discovery phase is over, and now you guys are very kind of mature as a company in terms of your brand and your messaging. And then also the crowdfunding campaign. I think you really hit the nail on the head there, where you said that when you do crowdfunding, it helps you actually communicate what your brand is. And that's also sometimes something that founders forget about. They get so wrapped up in the technology building phase, right, that they don't even know how to communicate what their product is. And if you don't know how to do both, I mean, it doesn't help you. I mean, that's why some companies are not around after they go through all the funding when they built their platforms, because they build their platforms and then they're like, okay, well, somebody's got to talk about it. Who's going to do that? So, I mean, great job on what you guys have done in terms of that. And speaking of going from place to place, you guys recently were in New Orleans, which, there was a lot of hype about what was going on in New Orleans this year. And like during the Essence Festival, I think the Power Move NOLA event was taking place during that time too. So that was probably great to be in an environment though, where you probably had like an audience too that you were pitching to, where people like understood also what your product was. So tell us a little bit about the Power Move NOLA event that you guys just like blew away. I mean, there was like press about you everywhere after that contest too. And tell us about your experience, but most importantly, how's that exposure led to other opportunities, and if so, which ones? Tell us what's happened to you guys since then.
Oh, yes. So Power Move NOLA is a phenomenal organization. This is actually their first year of establishing the pitch competition and really the launch of their organization, which is to help promote and equip minority-led businesses. And so they started this process of kind of bringing companies to the New Orleans area for the 4th of July weekend in partnership with Essence Music Festival. They started that late last year, and we were fortunate to be chosen as finalists in one of 3 pitch competitions. So they had one for seed round, Series A round, and then one that was on the Essence stage in the convention center. And that process and just really being a part of the organization has really been phenomenal, because it's one of the few that's really, really focused on increasing the success and opportunities and access to capital for minority-led companies. And they did a phenomenal job, even for their first year, of really raising awareness and opportunities and capital for over, there were probably over 40 companies that were involved with their whole programming throughout the Essence Festival weekend. And we were fortunate to win the seed pitch competition. And there were also great winners from each of the designated groups. And that has led to just really, really amazing connections across the board in every sector that you can think of. Investors, other tech businesses, media, other, small business experts, potential partners for us as well, because obviously this was kind of like a gold mine, because it's Essence Festival. And, of course, there are, thousands of Black women there. So there are a lot of companies.
Celebrities.
Yeah, celebrities. Exactly. And, we always try to figure out, how do we get connected with Essence Festival? Every year. We were there last year. We were there again this year, fortunately, for this opportunity to pitch. And so, we always try to find, ways to be connected and partner with these great organizations that also reach our target market. And so, what's come out of that is, of course, winning the pitch competition and the cash that really helps us to keep going and deliver some new things for our product strategy, but also the connections and the networking opportunities were really, really great. So just want to, definitely send a big thanks to Power Moves NOLA, and everyone should be aware of them, because, this is only their first year, and they will be doing this annually and having even more programming for minority-led businesses. So it was a really, really, really great experience, and it was pretty much a breakthrough for us, being on this path for so long. So it was awesome.
That's great. Congratulations, you guys, on the seed round. And I think it also makes a difference when you also have an audience or people that can also relate to your products, because I'm sure you saw a difference there. Because, like you mentioned before, was it last year or was it the year before? You did the big house pitch contest. But the difference is that was during a tech conference that's in Austin, Texas, and the percentage of minorities there in attendance is very low. So if you take an experience there where the backdrop is completely opposite of what you're working with, and then you go to something like Essence Music Festival, like you said, where you have this market of people that would have huge purchasing power on top of that. What is it, $1.3 trillion for 2017? So that's the African American purchasing power, and you have the celebrity. I mean, just the synergies all together make a tremendous difference, for sure.
Definitely.
So throughout your journey, you've been through a lot of pitch competitions, and you met a lot of different people. And I kind of hear some of the same narratives throughout, being a Black person in technology, when and talking to other people of color in technology, and one of the things is that there are not enough mentors out there for people that are up and coming, especially in the startup world for you all. So what I want to touch on is I want to know, from initially from your early beginnings, not as a tech company but as individuals, how do mentors play a part in you all entering like computer science and chemical engineering, and how has mentors played a part as far as founding a startup? And do you all have mentors now, and how are they contributing to your success?
So as far as for myself as a chemical engineer, I actually didn't have any mentors for chemical engineering. So my story is a little bit different. I went to a performing arts school for middle school and high school, and I wanted to be an actress. And I did like a lot of plays, and I did some local pageants and things like that. And I'm from Oklahoma City originally. And my mother was like, being an actress ain't gonna pay the bills. And she was like, you're really smart, so you need to be doing something with it. But she would ship me off to science camp in the summer. And that's when I learned about engineering and chemical engineering. And so what led me to chemical engineering was the fact that I found out that chemical engineers make hair products and makeup. So I was like, I want to make hair products. And so I was like, I'm going to figure out a way to make hair products as a chemical engineer. That is the sole reason I became a chemical engineer. And
wow.
So I ended up going to college, and when I worked in industry, the stars didn't align for me to work for a hair care company because I was going to create my own, obviously. But so that's how I got started. And I did have a cousin who did chemical engineering, but she had finished about 4 years before me, so she was just getting to her field when I was getting to mine, and we didn't have similar career paths. So I went through chemical engineering alone and by myself, blind. Ended up meeting my husband at Georgia Tech, who was also majoring in chemical engineering at the same time. So we were the blind leading the blind, and I finished. So I guess in a nutshell, I don't want to say like I did it myself, but as far as from chemical engineering perspective, I was kind of in it on my own. My mom didn't know anything about it. No one else could tell me about it. There weren't any other people that I felt like I could talk to about chemical engineering. And so, that's my story.
But you said something very important, though. Like your mom didn't know about it, but she still shipped you off to camp. And we had this really interesting talk last month with Dr. Lenise Block, and she was talking about how parents of today, they play a really huge role in terms of exposing that's very important for just to expose their children to areas of STEM. So your mom didn't know about it, but she knew there was something out there that you could go to that you could learn about. And so that parenting piece is really important. So she shipped you off. You discovered something that you would like, and then it just was a domino effect from there. So kudos to mom.
Big up to mom for not letting you be an actress.
Yeah. I'm glad she told you.
That's bad, but
that won't pay the bills.
I know what that'll be. That'll be after we sell our company for $1 billion. Then I'll be an actress. So that's
there you go.
A passion of mine that I haven't forgotten about it. But yes, kudos to mom for doing that.
You know what? Never. Better late than never. And you did just say you finished Essence. You finished Essence, and look at all those celebrities you met there. So I really think it is on the horizon in the future for you.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can play yourself in in some type of Techturized biography or autobiography.
Oh no, I play myself. Nope. It might get too real.
What about you, Candace? What about you, Candace?
For me, so In terms of going into computer science, I knew I wanted to go into computing since about fourth grade, and my mentor at that time was Bill Gates, because that's when I discovered Microsoft and discovered what software was, and the fact that it could be distributed onto millions of computers, and that really fascinated me. So I wanted to figure out, how do you do that? And that's when I got, exposed to coding and building websites and things like that. As far as college, what really inspired me to continue on the path of pursuing a computer science degree, because it does get very discouraging. One of my professors became my mentor. His name is Merrick First. And he is actually the person that started Flashpoint through Georgia Tech, which eventually became the startup accelerator that our company went through. And so it's kind of a divine connection, but he really, really forced me to continue pursuing my passion, but also around my junior year, I was really convicted to become an entrepreneur and figure out how I could blend the two fields of starting a business and using my computer science degree. So he was pretty much one of my main mentors in college. And as far as starting Techturized, we've had so many phenomenal mentors that have helped us through this process, because we're all first-time entrepreneurs. And what we did learn pretty fast through the Startup Accelerator is, to have some mentors around you who can help you not make mistakes that, more experts and knowledgeable people can kind of fill in on and help you, not make mistakes that you would have made if you didn't have knowledgeable mentors around you. And so that really helped us. Starting out our whole first year and second year, we have mentors to this date too. And we just got really, really smarter in terms of what it comes down to is knowing what you need and knowing the right people who can kind of help you with what you need, and not getting stuck into taking advice from, 1,000 different people and doing what this person says and that person says and that person. You just become smarter about your business and know what the gaps are and how certain mentors can fill in. And we have too many mentors to name, but we do, have had several mentors and advisors that have helped us along the process. And I want to, make a really key point that it's very, very smart to have mentors around you, especially if it's your first time starting a business, which, we're first-time entrepreneurs. So that is definitely what has kept me along the whole process of, becoming a computer scientist and using my degree, God placing the right people along the path. So that's been my experience.
What I really love about this, what I consider and what I look at as a movement, and what I mean by that is all these different organizations like Black Girls Code, like Blacks in Technology, organizations like BDPA, you got NBitLow, you got Black Founders, and then we have incredible individuals like yourselves who are, minority-owned startups, founders that are out there and are really doing their thing. Is that we are becoming the spark for something greater in the future. And now, we're speaking about mentors. We're going to be, the mentors of the future for the people that are coming up. And what I love about it the most is that I'm seeing more and more of this as time goes on, even with, things like Yes We Code, the whole thing that happened down at, Essence Fest. These things are really creating this huge movement, and that it's going to change the next generation. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's grassroots and it's everywhere, and it also takes role models. You guys have been great role models too, I think, to a lot of aspiring youth as well as technologists, because, I mean, you have really been out there on the circuit. I mean, I've heard a lot about you guys, as I mentioned before, just out on the pitch competition circuit, and that's what it takes, that visibility for people to see, oh, they're doing it, so maybe I can do it too. So I think you guys have been like a phenomenal inspiration. And aside from you basically recommending that founders have mentors, what other words of advice do you have for founders who want to pursue, like stop working in corporate America and start their own technology company? What words of advice would you guys give some founders this evening?
Yeah, so I have a few things about that. Number one, like, really understand what it is that you're doing, understand your product, do customer discovery. That's so important. That's one thing that we learned in Flashpoint. We interviewed about 800 to 1,000 women while we were at Flashpoint, and those interviews are what helped us build our current product that we have out right now. We had an initial idea of what we wanted to do, but we needed validation. And so you might have the greatest idea, but if no one will buy it or no one's interested in it, then, how successful can it really be? So you might want to get out there. Actually, not might. You have to get out there and talk to people about it. I know sometimes in the Black community in particular, and I got this a lot when I was pitching my idea to different women about what we were trying to do, people were like, oh, someone's going to steal your idea. I wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's a cultural thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, that is the wrong way to think about it. If you don't tell anyone about it, they won't know how they can help you. They won't be able to tell you resources. So you guys, and I got that so much throughout the whole process when I would talk to our people. So that's one thing. Another thing, if you're planning on leaving your job and starting your business, make sure you've saved up money. I mean, I understand that when you get an opportunity, sometimes you have to take it. But let's be honest, we all got to live and pay bills.
We got to live.
And exist.
And nobody's trying to give you no money.
Ain't nobody trying to give you any money. I mean, I'm just being candid and very honest with you guys. Me and Candace do this full time, and sometimes it's like struggle central over here because we are not taking any money from the salary, so we're trying to figure out little things that we can do to stay afloat. I was fortunate. Yeah, oh yeah.
Blind.
Hey, it's nothing but the blood of Jesus. So I was just telling everyone, make sure you saved up money. I had salary saved up, and that wasn't enough. So I'm gonna go as far as to say, have a year's worth of living expenses saved up. So,
girl, you need about 5. You need about 5 years. I think 5 years. 5 years.
Well, I don't want people waiting for forever, but I think you work on it. You work on it part time, for a little bit, and as soon as you even think you want to have a business, start putting money away because you don't know when that funding is going to come in, and it costs money to live, and it also costs money to run a company, to start a business, and so those are like the main 2 things that I tell everyone, just because we're living it. Like I said, we started with, I was able to save up a good 6 months, and it's through the grace of God that we're still doing okay, because me and Candace both left pretty well-paying jobs as, engineers. So for my salary, my household income to get cut in half, it could definitely be a strain on your household if you're married or you're in a relationship and you're sharing bills with someone. So those are my 2 pieces of advice.
That's some good advice, girl. That's good advice.
Well, the good thing about that whole thing is it's easier to go back than it is, really to go forward. So, even if you save up 6 months and, you get to that point to where you're like, oh, okay, this might not work, or I'm running out of money. It's easy, for you, especially as an engineer, for you to go out there and get a job, and then, maybe pick it back up later. The hard part is getting started, to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking that leap of faith.
Well, I do want to point out there is, you got to figure out what your magic number is. So if you're able to get your expenses down to very minimal, then do that. You don't, I don't want people to think, oh my goodness, I got to save up a year. But you just have to be really, truly honest with yourself on what it's going to cost for you to start your business, for you to operate it, and for you to be able to eat and live.
Right. And you really hit, you're right. You don't have to wait 5 years. But I started before I started my company. I waited 5 years, but I was ready to go. I was ready to leave corporate America, but I just, at the same time, was doing things on the side to build up what I wanted to do. And I'm telling you, like you just mentioned, it took like 2-3 years. Now you're in front of investors. Now you're getting seed money. So I just use that as a equation because, the experience that I've had, that you've had, that a lot of minority founders have had, it's not like any of the experiences that my mainstream friends have had when it comes to getting money for their ventures. Because they literally could go talk to a friend or a friend of a friend or someone who's an angel investor or venture capitalist, and just by the mere fact that they have similarities, people don't even need to hear their business plan. But, as you guys know, I know you've been told this where people have said to you, well, that's a great idea, get it going, and then come back and talk to us. And that is usually a year or two later. And once they see you still surviving and you haven't drowned, then they start to say, well, maybe you need to pay attention to these people. So, it is important to make sure you have money because you may be swimming in a large ocean for about a year or two. So,
yes, you are right.
You have to make sure you have some supplies.
You are speaking the truth.
All right. So, Greg, do you have anything else?
Yeah. What's next for? Well, yeah. We let's talk just real briefly about the product. What give us the name of your product and what it does and
how you use it. And you guys just launched like a new community, right? Called where people can favorite their hairstyle or something. Just tell us a little bit about some of the new features of your products right now.
Sure. So our product is called My Ivana, and it's a mobile app available for download in the App Store as well as Google Play. And women can discover new hairstyles, products, and local stylists in their area. So it's pretty much a social network for hair care where you can find everything you need to achieve a specific style. So there are a lot of peer-to-peer recommendations from women who have the same hair texture, and we also cater to all hair types. So whether you're natural, relaxed, transitioning, or wear weaves and extensions, there's something there for you to help you along your hair care journey. And everything is through photo sharing. So visuals are a key part to know, how a certain style looks, how can I actually achieve that style. And so that's what's available on our mobile app currently if you download it today. And what we will be offering pretty soon is the ability to provide personal recommendations based on your actual hair strand. And so we have labs based at Georgia Tech where we'll be analyzing your hair strand. You can actually send a sample of your hair into our lab, and we will provide a personal recommendation plan, on a monthly basis, and really eliminate the guessing game and the trial and error of trying different products, and actually tell you what's best for you to use from an ingredients perspective based on your specific hair care needs. And so we're really, really excited about that because a lot of this was born from all the things that we've learned from the thousands of women that are currently using our app and also that we've interviewed personally. And so what we recognize is two main things. One, there should be a designated space where we can find what we need for hair and not have to go on different social networks, search hashtags, search on Google, and so many other, places that are disintegrated across the web. There should be a one-stop shop where Black women can go and have a community for hair. But also, since our hair is so different, we need a personalized approach for your specific hair care regimen. And so that's what Myavana provides. Thank you. And it is the fruit of a lot of labor, a lot of work that we've put in. And so you'll see more to come from us this fall. We'll be at the World Natural Hair Show in Atlanta this October, and that's when we'll be launching the personalized hair care plans. And in the meantime, you can download the Myavana app and, start your hair care process and find just a more reliable, convenient source for all things hair.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations, you guys. Where can listeners find you and sign up for your service? How can they reach you via social media and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so you can sign up for our service, like Candace mentioned. It's called Myavana, and that's available for download in the Apple App Store and on the Google Play Store. Also, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Myavana Hair. That is our brand. And you can like our Facebook page, Myavana Hair.
Can you spell that for the listeners real quick? Myavana?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's Myavana.
Excellent. So we've covered what's next for you all. What I want to do is, I want to get you all back on here, not for Founders Hour, but just for a bit tech talk, because it sounds like there's some interesting technology going on behind the scenes. You guys are talking about analyzing hair strands and personalizing hair care solutions and things like that. And so me being an engineer as well, I like to get into the nitty-gritty technical details of what your app is built on, what platforms you guys are using, and all that stuff. So we'll save that for another podcast. So just consider this as an invitation to come back on to come back on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Excellent. So I definitely want to thank you ladies for joining us for this hour-plus long podcast. We definitely had a lot of fun, and I want to wish you a lot of luck in the future, and congratulations on your success, and hopefully, you continue your success and maybe reach out and bring some other people like us along the way.
Yeah, we'll send you some hair samples. We'll send you some hair samples too. When you launch that, make sure you let us know so we can write a story or blog, or maybe you guys would like to contribute to our blog in the future as well. Also, we want to invite our listeners and our fans to join us on September 17th, same time, same place. We will be speaking with Tiffany Bernard and Keisha Ash of Mini Mentors. So I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And ladies, it was great to catch up with you and continue success.
Thank you all so much for having us.
Y'all have a nice evening.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.